Hello and welcome back to the Project Hercules Diaries, where there is a bike-sized gap in the garage there, and that's because we're about to go away for the weekend to the Poser Rally and I'm taking the big red Guzzi. So nothing in terms of work on the garage until at least Sunday afternoon, but that's okay because I have a little update anyway. So I've been practicing welding, so I've had the big Artec and the little TIG welders out, practicing welding quite a bit, which probably explains why there is some gaffer tape on the airline. Anyway, been practicing a bit of welding, and Bob has finished making a couple of flanges. So these are the flanges for the exhaust. They're in super hard stainless steel. As you can see, they're a really nice push fit there onto the pipe. So the idea is we'll set the pipe up, we'll bolt these to the bike, we'll push the pipe in there nice and snug, and when everything's okay, we'll just tack it on there and then weld around the outside of it. Now I bought some stainless and I've ordered some more stainless steel bends, but as a mock-up and a practice, because I already had some mild steel, which I've written mild on because I don't want to be mixing them up, I've done a bit of practicing just using the mild steel, and you can sort of see here where I'm planning to go with the exhaust. So one of the welds I've done is here. It's polished out quite nicely. I haven't finished polishing it out, but there are no inclusions in there, and that goes nice and snug all the way around. So I'm reasonably happy with that. I think if I can achieve a similar finish in stainless and then with the wet and dry completely flat it out and polish it, I should be very chuffed. And then I've got this next bend here to take the pipe out, because if I leave it coming straight down here, it's going to collide with the frame, and I want to bring the pipe out before it comes down that side of the bike. And there's a couple of things now that are starting to kind of mess with my head, and I'll explain to you in as best detail as I can what my problem is. Well, I say problem, it's not really a problem, it's just something I've got to work out. So with that nicely tacked on there, a couple of options I've got are rotating that joint there like that before I tack it in place, and that rotates that closer or further away from the frame. So I want to end up with about an inch gap between the pipe and the frame, and the next bend would be this one here, which would take us to a vertical position. Now, as you can see, the angles aren't quite right, so when I cut this down to length and I cut that down to length, either I'm going to have a slight kick up in the pipe going that way, or if I pull this towards me, the effect of, if I exaggerate perhaps you can see, but if the effect of doing that then means that the pipe kicks down as it goes along the bike as opposed to going level. So somewhere by rotating this piece here, the angle of the next bend changes ever so slightly. So what I've done, this is a 30-degree bend. I've ordered a 20 and a 30-degree bend, so I can play with the bend radii of this particular bend. And then when I get that in place there, what I'd like to do is to end up with a nice, closely fitting pipe that runs all the way down, but far enough apart so that when we get to the back and there's a silencer, there's room for the silencer without having to kick the pipe out to fit the silencer in. So we'll probably end up about there, you know, an inch away from the frame of the bike, and with the pipe about there, it's not actually that far off at all once I've cut it, but it's just around playing around with that. I don't want to tack this in place. I don't want to permanently weld this in place and then find that it would be slightly better just to pull it out or pull it in a bit. So I think the next bend is dependent on this bend, and this bend is dependent on that position there. So there's a fair few things to work out in my head, but it's only working them out in my head. As I say, it's not really a problem, it's not a showstopper. And what I've been doing, I've made a little insert there that just goes short way into that pipe and short way into that pipe, and that just holds everything neatly in place while I weld them together and then polish it out. So I think that'll look quite smart when it's done. It'll be the same on this side. The other pipe will come down here, and then just there'll be a similar turnout there, so there'll be two turnouts at the same place, and then this pipe will join the one across the bottom. So I'm surprised it's not actually taken as long as I thought, and within the space of a good day or weekend I think you'll probably have a system together. So that's what I'm going to do, but first it's lots of practicing with the welder. I've got to practice the stainless when that arrives. It might not weld exactly the same as the steel, and shortly we should have a system, and hopefully no more gaffer tape on the airline, because that's a right pain in the bum, that is. Right, there we go. As usual, thank you for watching. More updates will follow.